What's up, everyone? Welcome to the latest edition of the BackMarkers F1 Power Rankings. This is round 15 after the Singapore Grand Prix, and we got a lot to get into, a lot of our rankings after Ferrari taking their third win in a row. So let's get right into our list. Of course, starting with number 10, we had some disagreements on Mr. Well, let me reveal it first. Daniel Kvyat is at number 10.
Yeah.
Daddy and Daniel.
I would say the torpedo has returned, but you guys disagreed. But Daniel Kvyat at number 10.
Yeah. Still, of course, this is the last 5 races, so still includes his Germany podium. So maybe with a reason why he's hanging on to number 10. But he has had a kind of a slower last few races compared to maybe the fourth and fifth race that we were going back to. So Germany and Hungary.
He did have a really good last race. That was the one he made up 9 spots from.
That was in Belgium.
That was in Belgium. Sorry,
yeah,
yes.
Okay. Belgium. Yeah, that's right. So it's been all right for Daniel, but of course the last couple of races, maybe not his best races, but not his worst races in the world.
All right, moving on to number 9 in our list, and it's P1, Sebastian. P1.
Sebastian Vettel makes a return.
The Lion of Singapore.
The Lion.
So new entry again. I think 2 weeks out of the top 10 rankings.
Correct.
Now he has. Yeah. Now he's re-entered at a lower position, but he missed out on the last 2 races, kind of. So it's a good comeback for him to finally make an appearance.
Podium in Germany and then the win in Singapore, pretty much is where he's at.
And a great team effort in Belgium to hold off Lewis Hamilton for Charles Leclerc. And obviously, the reason why he makes an entry back into our top 10 is the fantastic weekend that he's had. Yeah,
he did win a race.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a strategy. It was his outlap, qualifying, race pace, safety car restarts. That's why he's back in our top 10.
Yep. Agreed.
All right, moving on to number 8. Another fellow German driver, Renault's Nico Hülkenberg.
Nico Hülkenberg slides up 1 spot.
1 spot, yes.
It's been he's had a solid last few races, and a lot of people will be going, well, how is Hülkenberg not there, but Daniel Ricciardo's not there? And I think a lot of that has to do with just Hülkenberg. I think over the last 5 races, he's outscored Daniel Ricciardo on points. And
I think we mentioned this before, but even in Germany, he had a really good chance to get it in good position, but just bend it at the very end. And even if you take that away, his last 4 races have been really good.
Yeah, and since this whole contract fallout that he's had and being replaced, he's had some good points finishes. And, I must say before this weekend, I was kind of feeling bad for Nico about maybe not being in F1. But then I saw his girlfriend at the Singapore Grand Prix, and I was like, he's going to be all right.
He'll be all right.
But yeah, he's had a really good race, and despite him accelerating while braking at the same time in the last race.
No, I'm not.
No, but the computer says you are, Nico.
Our computer says he's number 8 for this week after Singapore. Okay, then moving on to number 7, our meme lord, F1's meme lord, Lando Norris.
Yeah,
up 1 position.
Up 1 position, and at number 7, like where he usually is in the race, best of the rest. But he's been again just very consistent, solid. And even though he's been quiet in terms of the actual broadcast covering him, which is unfortunate. He's just been running his own races, but he has been very good in terms of his race pace, his qualifying, and overall drive so far this season. The last 5 races.
Realize Lando Norris is probably the most millennial driver out there because nobody ever comments on his actual racing, but how he looks and how he acts.
Yeah,
I've just realized
and he's always on Twitter.
Yeah.
Always on Twitter.
I wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to program the Twitter app into his steering wheel.
That'd be pretty good. Another guy who's always on Twitter is our number 6 as well.
That's right. His teammate, Carlos Sainz.
Dropped 1 position.
That's right. And the smooth operator, because he sings really poor in Singapore.
But he released a tweet just not too long ago, 6 hours ago as this was filmed, that everyone was like, wow, I didn't realize what a great battle that was between him, Ricardo and Stroll for 11th, and he's like, yeah, it wasn't broadcast because it was me fighting for the position. And I was like, ooh, that's a shot at the TV. But he's been very good in his last races. Maybe, as of right now, the best out of the top 3 big teams. He's been the best of the rest.
And he's had some bad luck, reliability, punctures, wheels not being attached. Otherwise, he'd be scoring a handful of points.
I think he would still be in his position of number 5 or number 4, to be honest.
I think he might be higher, honestly,
Yeah.
and we'll reveal the rest of our list. I think he'd be higher than certain drivers had he been able to finish. Obviously, no fault of his own, but his qualifying performances still keep him above Lando Norris and obviously still in our top 10. So Carlos Sainz in P6 for this week. So moving on to our top 5 then. Valtteri, well, whoops, my bad right there. Our 5th position then is Valtteri Bottas.
He is in the top 5.
That's right. But I slipped a lot. I was going to
That's
set
okay.
it all up nice. I should have been like, number 5, it's James.
It's James. James is number 5. No, Valtteri 5.
He's dropped 1 position.
He has dropped 1 position, and maybe not to his fault.
Not
but
to his fault. And yeah, we should make that very clear.
I think it's due to other performances. But
Teammates, maybe.
Well, and for me, he dropped number 5 because he should have ignored the team order.
yeah, he should have. Poor guy. He's just too nice.
But we look at the last 5 races, obviously P2 in Monza, a podium in Belgium. So the last 5 races, he's still performing consistently. But yeah, that's kind of why. And the driver's doing better than him in front of him, obviously, is why he dropped a position to 5th. And one of the drivers that did do better than him, and in our opinion, is number 4, Alex Albon of Red Bull Racing.
He's been very good since he's gotten to that seat and has been very consistent.
He has probably made the most amount of spots up since we started our top 10 rankings.
Yeah,
he was not even on the list 3 weeks ago. Then he made an appearance in 9th place 2 weeks ago, up to 6th place, and now he's up to 4th.
Can he keep climbing? Can he win a race? Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, his pace was very good. He was staying with the top 6. One of the reasons why Mercedes went with that strategy was actually to cover Alex Albon. So his pace was very strong. He was looking very racy. And so I'm looking forward to what he can do at these upcoming tracks, Sochi and Suzuka, for example. But he's fit in really well with that Red Bull team, and I think that he's shown that he's doing better than Pierre Gasly was in his first couple races with Red Bull. So I'm impressed by the young Alex Albon. All right, let's get into our podium places on the BackMarkers F1 Power Rankings. Coming in at number 3, Max Verstappen. And this was one that not much change actually from the last week. And the reason why is because Red Bull, they underperformed in Singapore. And we were expecting them to be right at the front, fighting for the win. And in turn, they were actually fighting just to get on the podium. But nonetheless, Max Verstappen did have a good weekend after, obviously, the DNF in Spa, the engine penalty in Italy. He had a good bounce back week to just get himself back into the podium place again. Another podium for Red Bull Honda, so that's why he stays neutral for round 15.
And I think he did a very good job fending off Lewis Hamilton towards the end there, because I think it was the last 2 or 3 laps, Hamilton was catching up, but with all the heat coming out of the back of this car, there was nothing Lewis could really do. So very good defending. It could have happened within those 3 laps, I want to say.
Yeah, he needed to keep position at P3 to get that podium, and he did a good job at keeping the pace and making sure that he kept a 5-time world champion behind him.
When that started to happen, I really yelled out, "Fuck no." And then my girlfriend in the other room is like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal." I'm just really upset.
It's good to see Max, though, back at the front.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For sure.
All right, in our top 2, who's number 1 this week? And at number 2, we've got Lewis Hamilton, which might reveal our number 1 then.
Yeah, it definitely reveals a number 1. But that's okay. Lewis Hamilton, P4, a poor day for him.
Yeah, it is actually a bad
sad.
day for him, to be honest.
A poor race for him. Blew his own strategy call, staying out too long, and ended up shooting himself and his team in the foot in the end, which was unfortunate to see. And maybe next time he'll listen just to the strategy that's given to him.
And because of that, you would expect Max and Lewis Hamilton to switch. I just want to point this out before we get anything.
Last 5 races.
And qualifying as
Qualifying,
well. Yep.
Hamilton has been much better than Max Verstappen. And, take away his DNF, which isn't Max's fault. Lewis Hamilton has still been the better driver on the track.
Yeah.
So that brings us to our number 1 for round 15 post-Singapore Grand Prix, and that is Mr. Charles
Antonio
Leclerc.
Giovinazzi.
Honorary number 1 in our hearts.
P1, Antonio, P1.
He might as well have been after leading 4 laps.
Yeah.
Good for, shout out to Giovinazzi. But he is unfortunately not. Maybe in the future. But for now, it is Charles Leclerc as number 1. And you guys might be thinking, well, he dropped a place. He finished in P2. Why is he number 1? Well, he still qualified on pole position and put in an amazing lap. I mean, let's not underestimate or undercredit his amazing pole position lap. He was throwing that Ferrari car corner to corner, massive oversteer, almost binning it into the wall. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. And he comes out and still grabs pole position over Vettel, who put in a really good lap, and Lewis as well. The race didn't go his way, but again, last 5 races, he had 2 wins, Belgium and Italy with the pole positions. So that's why he stays again, number 1.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been very good. He probably would have won that race if there was a different strategy call.
Yeah,
true.
So you could say, you could put that into perspective as well. Yeah. But no, he's been very good, and I think that he's the points leader over the last 5 races. So there you go.
And I did say Antonio Giovinazzi because he is an honorable mention for this week because we were debating right before we went on if we want to put him in that 10th position because he's had such a good race. No, unfortunately not with Sebastian Vettel, him entering and Nico Hülkenberg's performances. Maybe and Daniel Kvyat. The next few weeks, you might see an entrance of Antonio Giovinazzi, but depends
how he does it in Russia. If he bends it in Russia on the first lap, then no.
And that also means that Kimi Räikkönen drops out of our rankings for the first time this season. So
first time he's dropped out of a race too. So
correct. So, do you agree with our list for round 15 after the Singapore? Why did I even ask?
No, man, it's a no. Come on.
Let us know anyway. We always love to hear from you. Drop your own list in the comments below, and we'll see how much different you guys out there think. Maybe we got some people who said Giovinazzi at number 1. Yep. You never know.
You never know.
But we always love to hear from you, so let us know. Also, check out our recap podcast of the Singapore Grand Prix attached in this video, also in the playlist. And stay tuned for our power rankings following the Russian Grand Prix. And also check out our Russian Grand Prix preview ahead of this weekend's race, which is also available on our channel. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.